Welcome to Carlos and Lisa. I'm Lisa Remillard.
And I'm Carlos Semesco. It's nice to have you with us. Look how nice our flowers look. Don't they look clean?
This whole place is clean and tight.
Do we ever dust those things?
I don't know.
Because you know they're
I
real.
will say, though.
They were real. You know they're real.
Yeah, they're real. Not really. Our newsroom is clean. I've worked in some really disgusting newsrooms in
This
my day.
studio is very clean.
And our newsroom is clean back there.
Yes, it's clean. Ish, yeah.
I mean, we do our best.
But you know, some workplaces are so disgusting.
So disgusting.
Back in the day, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
people smoked in newsrooms.
That's disgusting.
All the time.
Like inside.
Inside, all day long, smoke. I'd come home smelling like cigarettes all the time. You know. But people in some places where you work, and I've worked in some TV stations that the station is disgusting.
I have too. Worked in some really gross places.
They never clean.
So the reason why we're talking about disgusting offices is because there was this article and a survey of employees who said where cleanliness is lacking in an office.
Yes. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Right. When it's lacking in the office, 72% of people say they are less productive.
What about the other?
25% saying
the other
filthy
pig
is
pens
great.
are fine. Go around, walk around with your little cloud of dust everywhere you go. You're okay. You're perfectly productive, right? Only 72% said it affected their work.
But I mean, think about it. Like if your office, like the person that's next to you in the cubicle next to you or whatever is like, there are craps everywhere, and they got. The worst is when they got their lunch everywhere and like it smells.
In their desk, but have you ever opened a refrigerator?
Ew!
Okay, there's stuff in there that's been in there for months, and you go, why doesn't somebody? And so I have actually cleaned out a refrigerator.
At an office?
I went once, I picked up the phone back when they had intercoms in the newsrooms, and you click 7-8 on the phone, 7-8. I'm cleaning the refrigerator out in 5 minutes. If you have stuff in there you want to keep, get it now because I'm going to clean this disgusting mess. Click.
Yep.
And like 7-8. This is Carlos. Click. And I went in there with a plastic bag and I completely emptied out this refrigerator, got some Lysol, cleaned it all out. I'm thinking to myself, is this really my job? I'm a reporter. What am I doing?
Well, listen, here's the thing, which is always so amazing to me, is in those office refrigerators, there is a new form of disgustingness that is an office refrigerator. Like, there's things that leak that you're like, what the is that? What is that?
That's what I mean.
It doesn't appear in your refrigerator at your house.
You'd never do that at home.
But you
would never
see it.
do that at home.
You never see such a thing in your, but in the office, it's like,
well, have you seen some desks are disgusting.
Oh, disgusting.
People have stuff there that's been sitting on their desk for 20 years.
collecting dust that's this thick.
They've never moved it.
Ugh.
You know, when I worked at Cool in Phoenix,
Yeah.
KOOL, the station was owned by Gene Autry, the singing cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Sure,
that
sure,
was his famous song.
Okay.
And he owned that station. He also owned KTLA, by the way, at the time.
Kidding.
And so they say, uh-oh, the cowboy's coming to town. We got to clean the newsroom.
Right.
Not only did we clean, we painted.
Oh, jeez.
They had to paint the newsroom inside because
it was so disgusting,
because of the smoke smell, and he didn't like the smell of smoke. He wanted everybody's desk to be clean. And when Mr. Autry walked through, we just sat at our desk like we were in school.
Yeah, otherwise, you guys are filthy animals.
Good morning, Mr. Autry. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Hi, I'm Carlos. Yes. Is my desk clean enough for you?
Right.
But I mean, that was the extreme because our newsroom was disgusting. Yeah.
There are some offices that are very clean, like they have the great.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's
like those 5-star offices.
Yeah, but not all. And the other thing, when I was reading this article, it was talking about if your office lacks any natural light, it could also contribute to your low mood or poor health. So, if you're in like a box with no windows, all of a sudden you see no light all day long.
I went into an office. My wife had a company in a certain city I won't mention, where the coders worked in the dark almost.
Oh God.
No light, just a cubicle,
their mood?
but they had tons of snacks. I mean, snacks. I
everywhere.
mean, more snacks than you could ever imagine. They had like a center for, and they were free snacks in like a little lunchroom.
In the dark?
And they would go through this little dark tunnel to their cubicle, and there's stuff all over the floor, and you just go,
Gross.
Oh, man, clean
Gross.
that mess up.
Yeah, exactly. But like when you can't see and it's so dark, doesn't it put you in a bad mood? Like it puts me in a bad mood.
They were all very pale.
Yeah. They had
no vitamin D going into that building.
They had an office tan.
Yeah.
And the last part of this article was 65% of people said they looked forward to coming to work and even worked harder if their workplaces had a cleaner bathroom and a cleaner kitchen.
Yeah. Soderbergh. Worst violator of all.
Don't call him out.
Okay, I'm calling him out right now.
We love him.
His piles of clothes in our men's bathroom were epic. Boots from 1965 were in there. There was T-shirts from Woodstock were in there.
Pile of clothes in that
His
bathroom.
drums were in there. His clothes were, his sweatshirts, his bicycle shorts,
so
everything was in there.
He literally had his house.
Everything. And my locker was right next to the pile, and I literally couldn't get dressed for work because
Carlos every morning would come out on the set. He's like, the pile's getting bigger.
You know, and if it didn't smell bad, I would have been okay, but it did smell terrible, terrible. We had a locker room in this place that I worked, and so we all had our lockers. He had a locker plus the entire corner of the room.
Kept expanding.
Piles and piles of stuff. But love the guy. Love the guy. Sweetest man in the world. But man, talk about Pigpen. The dust cloud follows him everywhere he goes.
And here's the thing, it's like, so this is a true story that really happened. So ladies with long hair, you know that there's a shedding situation that happens. Yeah. So I get ready in the newsroom, and you know, I'm doing my hair in the newsroom, and a couple weeks ago, Carlos rolls in, he goes,
did somebody bring their golden retriever into the studio?
He said, did somebody get a Shetland?
Did I say Shetland pony?
A Shetland pony.
There was so much hair. There was so much hair on the floor. It was affecting my mood and my productivity. I couldn't have functioned. No, seriously.
I now vacuum the newsroom because of the shedding.
There was a lot.
I'm trying not to.
I didn't realize. It never dawned on me that it was you. I literally thought somebody brought either a Shetland pony or a golden retriever into the newsroom.
It's fine now.
All over the floor.
It's all vacuumed up now.
But it's a dark floor, so you can see it.
So you can see all the blood hair everywhere.
On this floor, you can never see it because it's blonde. It's blonde wood.
So anyway, does your workplace annoy you? We'd love to know. Who is the biggest offender in your workplace of disgusting habits?
Well, if you're lucky enough to have a lunchroom with a kitchen, the refrigerator is always the worst place.
Always the worst place.
But people also like utensils and stuff that are, you know, they don't run the dishwasher, or they don't wash them after they use them.
They leave them in the sink?
They leave them in the sink. Like, whose job is it to? I used to wash the dishes.
I mean, I did too.
At KUSI, I always washed the dishes there. And I go, why is it that I'm I'm the morning anchor, why am I washing dishes and starting the dishwasher? That was not the refrigerator clean, although I wanted to detonate it.
Yeah, it was that one. That was gross. That was a gross one. All right. We have a really fun show today.
It is fun. This is a big day.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and get to it.
I got to clean.
Yeah, he's got to get the vacuum out.
Somebody give me some Lysol.
Coming up, she has a new single out for the holidays called It's Christmastime. Hear Olivia Rox perform the song with her musician father, Warren Hill.
What happens when you mix a powerful voice of Olivia Rox and the sultry, awesome saxophone sounds of Warren Hill? You get It's Christmastime. That's what you get. In fact, they're here right now. And Olivia, nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Introduce your saxophone player. Who is he and why do we know him?
Well, I just found him on the street. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. This is my incredible dad. This is Warren Hill. And I wrote this Christmas song called It's Christmastime. And I really, really wanted to have somebody playing this part, and it just so happened I knew somebody who was pretty amazing. So I was able to convince him to play on the song, and we did this whole, riffing part, and I love it.
And we're gonna hear you guys do this, and I can't wait to hear that. But first of all, I didn't know about the connection between the two of you, so this is kind of cool. I mean, so when you were growing up, you were surrounded by music. Music has been part of your life since you were a little girl.
Definitely, yeah, and I'm very fortunate too, because both of my parents are in the music industry, so they kind of just took me along, and we got to travel the world together and make music, and It was great.
And what a blessing, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, she carried my saxophone since she was 2, and
Still
tried to
do.
get me to do it. You know, someone had to do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't gonna be me, right? I'm a big star, right?
Exactly. I'm glad you're teaching your children well. That's yes.
Yeah, hard work.
So now the tides have turned, and I carry her
Yes.
guitar for her.
Yes.
Just not the piano, hopefully.
Oh yeah, that would be.
But you've had a storied career. You played all over the world, and your sound is very familiar to all of us. I mean, you're one of the best, if not the best, saxophone player on the planet. And you, I mean, you really give it all. And when you watch your daughter sing, what does that do to you?
It's been incredible. I mean, the first time that she did that with me, she was 2.5, and I was playing a gig at the Chicago Theater with Boss Skaggs, of all people.
Yeah.
And Olivia asked, almost begged, you know, can I come on stage and sing a song? And we're like, you know, Tamara and I were like, okay, are you sure? And then she came out and just killed it. Standing ovation. She sang Someday My Prince Will Come, you know,
Yeah.
and Snow White was your favorite. And it was just adorable. And of course, then I go on the mic and I go, okay, great, now what am I gonna do? You know, W.C.
gotta
Fields
follow
said,
that.
never follow children, right?
Never.
And so it just kind of started as a tradition. So everywhere I tour, and Olivia was homeschooled, so it was, that's how she saw the world. I mean, before you were even 12, I think you had been to 40 countries, right, around the world, and that's why she's such a cool kid. You know?
Yeah. Well, no, you're exposing her to the entire world, and so she draws from that and creates this incredible music that we've heard before when you were here last time.
Yes.
So okay, so you're on the holiday radio right now.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What's that
Oh
like?
my gosh. Well, it's kind of crazy. So since I saw you last, my song "It Girl" is now on the charts.
And you won an award.
I won an award, Best Pop Song, HMMA Awards.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, I think it's like number in the 30s on the radio charts right now for It Girl. And then I just released my brand new song, It's Christmastime, and that's already I think in the 30s as well of the
On the
holiday
charts, yep. And adult contemporary charts. She's on 4 charts right now.
So cool.
That's great. I mean, and, you know, the thing about it is that is this the first collaboration officially with you two, or have you done others before?
On my records,
Yeah.
we've done,
Oh,
she's
you
done a
have?
couple things on mine, yeah. Yeah, in particular,
Black
biggest,
Dog by Led Zeppelin.
She did Black Dog.
That was fun.
You're kidding.
Yeah. And I was 15 when I did that.
Wow.
And so at the time I hadn't really heard the song. And so my dad's like, oh, I'm going to be playing Black Dog. And he goes, maybe I should get you on this song. Why don't you try it and see how you sound on it and everything. So my mom takes me outside and we listened to the song a few times down, maybe 2 or 3 times. And I came back in the studio and I was on his saxophone mic. It was like a really rough track. I recorded it and we ended up using that one take.
That one take, huh?
Yeah.
Because it was that good.
It was that good.
Yeah. Okay. Now your dad is like supremely cool. Look at him. I mean, he's amazing.
know.
Okay. So was there a time when he wasn't cool to you because you're his daughter?
Yeah, 10 minutes ago
when
before
he
we got here.
Before we asked him to change. No.
Yeah.
That's hysterical. Because I went through a stage with my daughter where she didn't want to be anywhere near me, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the case here.
No, I still
No,
like
that's
him.
good, that's
Hopefully you
good.
still like me. And
yeah.
thank you. Thanks.
All right. So you've got this Christmas album. You've got the holiday radio, It Girl, and now you've got a new band. Tell me about the new band.
Oh my gosh, they're incredible. So
You're going to be touring with them, right?
I am. Yeah, we start
so tell me
the
about
Pop
them.
Rocks tour early 2020.
Pop Rock Tour?
Pop Rocks. Yeah, for
Of
my
course,
album,
yes.
Pop
Have to
Rocks,
keep that
and-
brand going.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so stoked about this because my band is so phenomenal. They're the top musicians in the industry. You're a jazz guy. You can, attest to this, what I'm saying. But they're just incredible. And I was actually in Cancun recently, and we filmed the whole live show down.
Oh, wow.
And it was so great. We did the video wall, the smoke machines and the sparks and pyrotechnics. It was like, for me, I'm actually afraid of fireworks, which is weird. So I had to, get over that fear of the things exploding in my face. But after I got over that, it was so cool to be able to be in it. You see this on stage. You see all the lights and, it's
Excellent.
amazing. But now to actually live it, it's
Well, I can't wait to see the new band, and I want to look for that video as well. So I've got a treat for you. When we come back, we're going to go to their private studio and listen to their new song, It's Christmastime. Do not go away.
Still ahead, a performance of the holiday single, It's Christmas Time. And later, they're the hosts of a new Travel Channel show looking into unsolved mysteries. Kinga Philipps and J.J. Kelley are here.
I'm back with Olivia Rox and Warren Hill, and I want to know the history behind It's Christmas Time. How did you write that? Tell me a quick story about it.
This is actually a song I wrote quite a while ago, maybe 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's really just about the magic of Christmas. You know, growing up, I always had the best Christmases. We lived in Boulder, Colorado for quite a long time. So I'd have, the snow on Christmas, and you'd go downstairs and you'd have your hot cocoa, and it was just magical. And so that's really what I wanted to put into a song, something that was indelible. That feeling of Christmas.
Yeah, well, the song, I've heard it is memorable, but the way you guys do it together is really special. Warren plays some sax riffs that are amazing, and the song is beautiful. We're going to hear it now from a special location in their studio.
Yeah.
Here's It's Christmas Time.
It's Christmas time, at the time of your life. It's time to celebrate, you just can't wait for Christmas time. I wanna see the snow falling down and a love all around. I wanna see your heart wrapped up in joy. I remember those sleepless nights with dream-filled eyes and peppermint skies above. I remember sitting at your bed, waiting long and sad. Couldn't wait to tell you I'd heard it said, it's Christmas time, at the time of your life. It's time to celebrate, you just can't wait for Christmas time. I wanna hear the bells on the tree, be with family, only need you and I'm happy. I remember those sleepless nights with dream-filled eyes and peppermint skies above. I remember sitting at your bed, waiting long instead. Couldn't wait to tell you I heard it said, it's Christmas time, at the time of your life. It's time to celebrate, you just can't wait for Christmas time. It's Christmas time, at the time of your life. It's time to celebrate, you just can't wait for Christmas time. Yeah, it's Christmas time, oh, at the time of your life. It's time to celebrate, you just can't wait for Christmas time. Yeah, it's Christmas time, at the time of your life. It's time to celebrate, you just can't wait for Christmas time. Yeah, it's Christmas time, at the time of your life. It's time to celebrate, you just can't wait for Christmas
It's a sweet moment there at the end with the two of you. I mean, that is such a great feeling, huh?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really feel it. It's not just. Okay, so let's talk about Olivia Rox. Pop Rocks is a great Christmas gift, I think.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
perfect stocking stuffer. You can get it on my website, oliviarox.com. And this is, the compilation of all of my newest songs, my first album, my debut album. But honestly, I think that buying somebody music for the holidays is really the perfect gift. You can't go wrong.
Stuff that's in this. It's Rox, R-O-X, right there. Thank you so much, both of you, for letting us into your private studio and listening to you play. And Merry Christmas to both of you.
Merry
This is a great time of year to have this sort of family feeling and share your talents with the world. We love having you here as guests.
Oh,
Thanks for having
thank you
us.
so much.
Merry Christmas to
I
you.
love
Thanks so
being on
much
the
for
show.
being here. All right.
Bye.
Next, she has an HBO special called About Last Night that you have to watch. Hear from comedian Marlena Rodriguez next.
Disney taught us to settle. Jasmine stays with Aladdin, even though he totally Joe Millionaired her. Remember Joe Millionaire was before The Bachelor. They took 20 women, made them compete for a man who they said was a millionaire, and it was a lie! He was literally a construction worker off Craigslist, and then we all watched feminism die. It was a very good show.
So true. So she has been performing her stand-up all over the world. She's even written for shows. You may have heard of little shows like Netflix, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and HBO's Silicon Valley.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Well, now she has a comedy special of her own called About Last Night. You saw a little clip there. Welcome, Marlena Rodriguez.
Hi.
Marlena, that is hilarious stuff. That really is
Thank
funny.
you so
Oh my
much.
gosh.
Thank you.
And so true.
I know.
I mean, we watched it just die in that moment. All of the feminism just went right out the window.
Well, it's like entertainment, feminism. They can't go together.
They can't coexist.
I mean, you write for shows, so you know kind of the structure of things and how things go back. But in the back room, did somebody just say, did anybody check this guy out?
I feel like is anybody checking out any of the men on the dating shows? Only so far. Otherwise, they wouldn't have any.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Because half the fun is watching their nightmare reveal itself on television in front of millions of people.
Yeah.
And these poor women who have to be there with them.
It's torture, but it's entertaining again.
All right, so let's talk about the show, the HBO special. What a big deal! When HBO came to you and was like, "Let's have you be part of this," what'd you think?
I disbelief isn't quite right because I've worked so hard to get here. But, it's been an honor just being such a big part of the HBO family, and to then add, my own project was just so cool. And, it never hurts to be able to go to Latino parents and be like, I'm doing better than you. And then they're mad, but ultimately you remind them that's why they came to this country, yada, yada. So.
But every Latino child has to be a doctor or a lawyer. You chose to be a writer, comedian. How did that go over?
Bad.
Yeah.
Very bad. And I started early, so they got a head start on being disappointed in that choice. But those checks come in, those writing checks,
And now they're
it's a
like,
different
That's
story.
my girl on TV. That's my daughter on TV.
Conversation completely shifts at the Thanksgiving table, right?
Yeah, I feel like whenever I tell my dad accomplishments at this point, now he's just just putting together things to brag about
Right.
at conferences and such.
As he should. Okay, so tell me now that you're, have your own special on HBO, which is like just a few. I mean, there's a lot of comics in the world, and to have a special on HBO is a big deal. So now, I mean, does your stock rise in the industry? Now, do you only do Netflix, HBO specials, or are you still doing the club circuit?
I should probably do what you're saying.
Absolutely.
If that's an option.
Yes, you need to do that. Girl, if you don't do it for yourself, nobody will.
Well, honestly, it's cool to be able to get this exposure and to hopefully reach other Latinas because there have definitely been Latina comedians before me, but, not as many as you want. And so I am just so happy to be, someone that another Latina who doesn't find herself represented very often, be able to click this on, see what I'm talking about, see that it's not all about, you know, being Latino is hard or anything like that.
What do you mean
know,
by that? What do you
I'm
mean by
normal
that?
too.
What do you mean by that?
You're right. You're right.
What are you talking about? Is this an East Coast view? Because from the West Coast, it's all tough.
Okay, pero en the East Coast, sí se puede.
¿Sí se puede en el East Coast?
Se puede.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aquí no la jodes in this side. See how it is?
Yeah. See, yes, I see how it is.
It's a similar thing. You know?
I
But-
know, I
So
see.
I want to know because so many great comics that we see on television and performing today were great writers to begin with. And you write as well as perform. So tell me about that transition from writing great stuff to performing great stuff for yourself.
Yeah, I went to a really fancy theater school, and I thought I was going to be an ingenue, and then I realized, no, thanks.
Not your thing.
Well, you know, why just act when you can also write the material and then perform that?
Right.
And I've had an incredible time touring with Second City and getting really going with Comedy Central and always being able to go, I'm doing both. You know, I may be writing here, but then I get to kind of take a breather from that and do stand-up. And it's really, really awesome.
I want to talk about stand-up because, you know, Ali Wong, I love to watch Ali Wong talk about.
She's great.
She's great, right? As are you. And what you talk about is real, but what she talks about is going around on the club scene and how seedy and disgusting the comic club scene is across the country. And she's like, as a woman, it's a different thing to go out. I mean, as a man, it's one thing. To have like some random stranger pick you up at an airport, like, oh, I'm going to the club now. But I mean, I would imagine going around the country for you is an interesting, with your particular material, it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, you know, you mostly just gotta watch out for the guys on Instagram. You gotta watch out for, you know, is this DM sender someone who also happens to be at the show?
Yeah, right.
But
And also a serial killer on the side, right?
you hope. You hope they went all the way with their brand.
Right. They're all in.
Yeah.
Right, I get it.
But honestly, touring with Second City, we would go to the middle of nowhere, and I got so used to that film. That is where you that film
Yeah,
of
on the
just
wall.
kind of
Disgusting.
like dirt and
Yeah.
scum.
Grime.
That's just where you perform.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say.
What's the weirdest reaction in like a small town that you've ever got? Have you ever had a strange reaction
Has
from
anybody
somebody?
said to you, I've never seen a real Latina before?
Yeah, right.
Almost.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
Yeah.
like there have been moments where, like I was saying earlier, like a Latina will come up to me and she looks like me, you know, not as necessarily identifiable, what I like to call a secret Latino.
That would be me.
And,
Yes.
you know, we're so privileged.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Thank you very
privileged.
much.
But, you know, they come up to me and it like saddens and warms my heart at the same time that they'll be like, I've never seen something like you before. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna have to take over the world then.
So it could be more mainstream.
Yeah,
Right? So
yeah.
you can see more of me. Okay, so the show is on, let's explain to everybody where they can see the HBO show.
Yes, so we'll be officially airing. We'll be officially airing at
Tonight?
9:30 p.m. tonight.
Okay.
And then from then on, we'll be on all HBO streaming platforms.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. So
Yeah.
what's next?
This is exciting
What's
stuff. yeah.
next?
What's next is I'll be touring, so I will be. I think I'm heading to DC in January, as well as Portland, and then next year we'll be recording an album and filming a visual album.
Is your dad
so.
still sending bodyguards to protect you everywhere you go?
My
'Cause if I was your dad, I'd
yeah.
be like, you know, you're going to have somebody on the side watching you all the time.
That's what brothers are.
There it is.
My brother lives here. I have one in Chicago.
Good. Yeah.
I have one in Connecticut. So I think he has the nation covered.
There you go.
For
See,
any
you gotta
Just
take care of her.
deploys them at will.
Gotta take
like
care of her.
whenever you're around.
Because the
Very
film,
much
the
so.
film on the walls is also on the people.
Yeah, it's on the wall. It's the least of the worries, right? There are
protect
other things
Marlena.
to be concerned about.
Yeah, at least with the wall, you have to walk to the wall, but the people can walk to you.
See?
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
We're
great to
so
have you
happy
here.
for you.
Thank you so
And
much.
continued buena suerte.
Yes. Gracias.
De nada. Es un placer. Well, all of a sudden it became Spanish, like Espanol
Yeah,
Spanish.
I see that. I see that, Carlos.
And that's a
It
whole
happens.
nother
That's a
comedy
whole
bit.
different
That's a whole
conversation.
completely different thing.
All right, we'll be right back.
Vamos a regresar después de esto. Pausa, chiquita.
He won't stop talking. He won't stop talking.
Next, the hosts of the Travel Channel show Lost in the Wild are here telling us about their amazing experiences filming the show.
They are the host of an epic new show on the Travel Channel called Lost in the Wild. Our favorite adventure traveler, Kingka Phillips, is here. She is one of the hosts, and she has brought along her other host for the show, J.J. Kelley. Hi!
Hello, thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, this show, I told you, I stalked you when you told me that this was on, saw it on your Instagram. I stalked you like, what is this show? I want to be a part of it. Tell everybody what it is.
Well, you know so much about me, I'm going to let JJ take it.
Oh,
Tell
my
me,
goodness.
JJ.
Tell everyone about it.
Tell me what it is.
It's an amazing new series called Lost in the Wild. It's on the Travel Channel, and we get a chance to go around the world, and we investigate stories of people who've disappeared. You know, we've all traveled, whether you may travel to a different state, a different country, you could go anywhere in the world, and sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes bad things happen in countries where they don't want you to get to the truth. Maybe they're trying to cover up for their amazing tourism industry. Maybe they don't want to have investigators coming in or the embassy coming in. So we pick up where investigators left off to try and solve these true cases of people that disappeared in the wild.
And this is an eight episode show,
It is.
right? Okay, and so tell me the kind of the range of stories you're tackling. From somebody lost to somebody perhaps murdered? What's the range?
It's exactly that. So we call this show basically the true crime podcast come to life with an adventure spin. So we take you boots on the ground to these exotic locations, to the last places that some of these people have ever been seen. We talk to witnesses, we talk to family members, and it's exactly that. We run the gauntlet of people who simply vanished without a trace, with zero clues, no bodies, no evidence, nothing, to people whose remains have been found, but it's not a closed case because no one has ever been convicted of a crime. So we try to push the bar, push the envelope, kind of push the needle in the direction of, can we solve this case? Can we bring new evidence to light? And there's some serious bombshells that come out.
Oh, and that's what I was going to say. Okay, so did you solve a crime? Did you find, how far did you get in these stories?
We got really far, and the crazy thing is a lot of these cases of people, Americans, of other travelers who've disappeared, they may do a 2-3 day investigation and that's it. They may want to say, hey, that person fell in the river, there's nothing to see here, there are no witnesses, you need to move on. So for the first time ever, we're interviewing investigators, key witnesses, and putting them on the record, saying this is their case. And then we were able to uncover never before heard recordings from possible murderers. We were able to interview possible murderers. Like we got.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Chills.
You just like glossed over something super important. You mean you actually talked to some of the potential suspects or people who are at least persons
Amazingly, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
They talk to you?
Yeah. For the first time.
And then kicked us out. And then we stayed in that town, in a tiny little town in Brazil where this
God.
person lives. And all of us, we later, like in the morning, the whole crew conferred that we had all put chairs against the door because we're like, this person, if he wanted us dead, like he could actually come after us here.
It was terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
You have to think, 3 people went up the Amazon River in Brazil looking for this mystical city because this guy talked about it. Turns out he is a complete liar. You have to watch the show to find out more about it. But he was the one person that all these people found before they disappeared. One of these people was found with a bullet in his head. The only person that had the same gun was this individual. And we tracked him down. He'd never talked to an American TV crew before. We went to the town where he was living, a tiny town, and as Kinga said, we did the interview, it was late in the day, and we went to talk to our pilot, and he said, no, that's it, we can't fly home, it's too dark right now. You're staying here tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait, and I mean, I would imagine when you go around and shake the trees, so to speak, in these different locations where they're trying to, obviously the authorities are trying to put the kibosh on all of the stuff. They don't want it out, and you're out there shaking trees. I'm sure that you were not very popular out there.
We've laughed a couple times that we'll probably not be allowed back into certain countries because when you shake the tree, you start to see a lot of like rotten fruit fall out.
Yeah.
And in some of these cases, it's depressing how little effort the authorities, the countries, the governments put into finding some of these people. And like JJ said, a lot of times it just makes more sense for them to kind of go, oh yeah, they fell off into the river. Let's just cover it up because tourism is good. Yeah. And it's upsetting. And then you have families who are still looking for their loved ones sometimes years later. Some of our cases were as fresh as 4 or 5 months.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you have are there any cold cases? Are there any cases that have been outstanding for years?
Some of them are older, but the crazy thing is people may have disappeared just 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And you think if no one was ever found, no body was ever found, you have somebody that just completely went off the grid, off the map, no evidence, you talk to authorities and they say, oh yeah, the case closed, because they don't want journalists coming in. They don't want investigators coming in. But what we're able to do as investigators is talk to people where if the US government came in and we talked to police officers here in the States that said, we want you to help us because you can do things as storytellers and as journalists that we can't do. We can go in undercover, we can talk to people on the ground, but as you said, it raises a lot of red flags because we stand out, especially we're walking around with cameras.
Right, you stand out, especially in all these situations. Okay, so people can watch it on the Travel Channel.
On the Travel Channel.
When?
December 29th, 11 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
So that's
8 episodes.
8 episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Kinga. JJ, nice to meet
So
you.
nice
Please
to meet
come
you.
back,
Please.
Kinga. Always great to see you.
You too.
All right, watch the show. It's Lost in the Wild. I'm so excited. Okay, we'll be right back.
Coming up, he's the composer of many of your favorite TV theme songs. Hear from Snuffy Walden.
Our next guest is a rock star, the musical composer of themes for just about every television show you've ever seen, and now he has a documentary.
Yeah, Snuffy Walden is here to talk about his new documentary, Up to Snuff. Hi, Snuffy.
Hi, Snuffy.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm great.
Okay, tell me about the movie. Like what? How did it come to be?
Up to Snuff, right?
Yeah, I'm on the board of a film festival back in Washington D.C. and the guy, the head of the board, kept hearing stories from me. He said, we ought to make a movie. And I'm going, no, I don't want to make a movie. And it took him about 4 years convincing me to do it. And I finally said, I'll do it if we can do something that helps someone else and really is so I can be a service. And so I agreed to do it. And it was really kind of fun to get an overview of my life.
Well, kind of fun to see yourself, as a young rocker in some of those pictures and play the music, huh?
Sometimes.
You had some epic hair. You had that hair. I saw that rock star, 70s hair, man.
If I only had it now. I could only get it back.
Tell me about, the transition from life on the road, rock star life on the road, to getting into TV and scoring literally every television show I ever watched, you scored.
It's so funny. I'm the only guy in television who never took a music course, who never learned to read music, never learned to write music. And I was playing one night at a place called At My Place, and an agent approached me and said, Ry Cooder's priced himself out of the business. Would you be interested in scoring television or film? And I, figured, well, it's going to be better than playing at the Holiday Inn when I'm 65 years old. And I went up for some films and didn't get them. And then there was this little TV show that they all thought wouldn't make it. And I went and auditioned for it and ended up scoring it. It was 30-something.
Unbelievable.
And the next little show I got was The Wonder Years, and that year was my first year in composing, and 30-something won the Emmy for Best Drama, and Wonder Years won it for Best Comedy. So
incredible.
And then you won an Emmy for Best...
for The West Wing?
For The West Wing, yeah.
And Roseanne? I mean, so because we were listening, we were stalking your website and listening to all of the scores, and seriously, every time Carlos would play something from one of your TV shows, I was like, took me right back to those TV shows. How did you determine what sound went with what show? Because they're all so different.
It's like casting actors in a movie, I think. I try to find the soul and the heart of the show, and then approach it that way. And also, to be honest, I've had some great TV shows.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
have.
hard to mess it up if you've got a West Wing. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
right,
you got one on the
totally.
air right now, the SEAL team, right?
SEAL team's doing great, third year in, and the Edie Falco show, Tommy will be on in January. So.
Yeah, you know, keeping your chops up is something. You said you stopped playing for a while, and you somehow connected with this young woman who has the voice of an angel. And tell me about that connection and how that's changed your life and your musicality and what you're doing now.
Well, I met Sara Nimitz when I was really busy. It was the year 2000 or 2001. I was doing 10 shows, 10 TV series at the same time. And she came in and sang, and I just remembered the little girl with a big voice. And then I got a Christmas card from her 5, 6 years later, and she sent along a little video clip, and it just killed me. And I called her up. We talked all over Christmas, and then I went and saw her on January 2nd and said, you know, if you want to do what I've done, if you want to pay the dues and go through this business, you know, I'll do it. If you want a pop record, I'm the wrong guy. But if you really want to learn the business from inside out, you know, I'd love to mentor you.
Oh, the maestro.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's incredible.
but why? I mean, I'm sure in all, you know, you said you were doing 10 TV shows. I mean, you're in demand. You've been with, I'm sure, been around all these wonderful musicians. Why pick? What was it special about Sara? What brought you back? Because obviously you said you had been kind of canceling your life on the road for so many years.
Well, it was a combination of who she was and the heart that she sang with. And there was a resonance there for me that I had never gotten with another singer.
But what does it do for you to get
What
back
does it
out?
do for me? It keeps me young. It keeps me fresh. It keeps me on the edge, because I was getting kind of stale with television. And now I get to split it between we'll go on tour, or I'll come back and do a show, and they both feed each other.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Eric Burden's on the phone. He wants to know why he didn't say that about him.
Well, Eric was the next guy I was going to talk about.
Eric Burden and the Animals, of course, was a big. You played with Eric Burden, right? Yeah.
Played with him for years.
So tell me about the documentary. Like, where can we see it? What's happening with it?
It's released. It's going to be released in March in theaters, probably limited release, and then it'll be on streaming and on demand. And
It's been so nice to have you here. Thank you so much. You're so talented,
My pleasure.
and the resume is ridiculous. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the film is up to snuff.
And Eric Burden is on the phone.
Okay. We'll get him.
Monday on Carlos and Lisa, actress Emily Shaw is here.
That is a fun show.
So much stuff.
Olivia Rox,
Olivia
come on.
and Warren were amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I always love
what a
to see-
talented family.
I know. I love it when dads and daughters get together
I know,
and
it's
do
so cool.
something creative like that.
You know,
what a
it's-
special thing.
I hope they realize just how special, how unique that is.
I think so.
Yeah, sure,
you
something
know,
like that, yeah.
she's such a great young girl,
Yeah.
and she appreciates her dad so much. And
He's
so
such a
lovely.
goof. He's a goofy guy. You're like, woo, woo, woo. Having a good time. I love that.
Well, I'm sure as a dad, how special is that too? That your
Oh,
daughter
absolutely.
is into what you're into.
Yeah. It took me a long time because, you know, my dad was a musician. I played in his mariachi band when I was a kid. It took me a long time to appreciate it.
Yeah.
And he did too. He eventually told me that he really appreciated, you know, the moments we had together. So
Right.
That's a great thing.
I know,
This
it's
holiday
great.
season, we want to share love.
Just perfect. And also, if we want to share some killer stories with you, not just love, killer stories with Kinga and J.J.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The show, again, if you missed it, Lost in the
couldn't believe
Wild.
those stories.
Lost in the Wild on the Travel Channel, and there's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And honestly, off camera, Kinga and J.J. were telling me that when they were shooting the show, that they were actually scared out there. In
Yeah, I
certain-
would be too. Are
like
you
in
kidding me? That's
certain-
crazy.
In certain countries, they were like,
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. We got to hurry up. You know why?
Why?
Because I've got to go record with Snuffy. I got some songs I want to pitch
you're not
in.
recording with Snuffy. That is a lie, Carlos.
I got this thing, you know?
You're not. Now, Snuffy.
I got to play with
Listen,
Snuffy.
Snuffy's a cool dude, man.
I want to be as cool. I want to be Snuffy when I grow up.
All right, you work on that. All right, that'll do it for us today. You can watch us, of course, anytime on BeondTV.
That's Beyond.tv. BEOND.TV.